Hey, Cougar family. Welcome to Season 1 of the CougsFirst podcast, your one-stop business network, a podcast all about life, business, and the best college in the world, Washington State University. Join us each episode to hear stories from your favorite Cougs, interviewed by yours truly, Kelsey Knutson, class of 2012. We're so glad you're here, and we can't wait to dive into this week's conversation. So grab a cup of coffee, crack open that beer, or pour a glass of wine, and let's kick off another episode of the CougsFirst podcast. All right, Cougar family, welcome back, not only to the podcast, but today we get to welcome back Tony, the Executive Director of CougsFirst, and we have an update. We have lots of cool stuff that has happened in the last 6 months of this show, longer for him being involved in this role. Lots of exciting things coming in 2023 if you're listening in real time, and we thought we were due for just like a check-in. How's it going? What's going on? So Tony, first tell us, for the people who are crazy and have no clue who you are, give a quick update of who you are in your role for CougsFirst.
Yeah. Hey, first of all, thank you so much for having me again. I've enjoyed all of the episodes for the past 6 months, and I hope that we continue to do this for a long time to come. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Tony Poston, and I'm the Executive Director of CougsFirst. I've been in this role since early March of last year. So I guess that's 9 months now. And it's been an incredibly fast 9 months. With a lot of things going on. So I'm excited to recap those with you today, Kelsey, because CougsFirst has grown tremendously in just the last 9 months, probably more in the last 9 months than it has in the last 9 years. So excited to tell you about it.
Yeah. And for those who don't know of all the history, we actually have some really solid episodes, the first 3 specifically, that go over all of that. So I'm just going to go tell you to go listen to those. If you want the full history lesson of CougsFirst and how it started, definitely go take a listen to those. But Tony, I have a selfish question, just me, pure curiosity. When you took this role, what were some of your initial ideas of where to take CougsFirst? And now 9 months in, how have those kind of measured with those original ideas that you had?
Yeah, well, I think the number one thing that I saw, especially with everything going on in the job marketplace, was the need for hiring of Cougs. And the CougsFirst tagline was to think Cougs first for products and services. And I really wanted to add the word hiring onto that. And so we've added an entirely new element to our website and it just went live within the last 5 days, where our Crimson members can upload job postings. There's 2 of them up there now. So if you're a Crimson member and you're listening, please hop in there and upload job postings. And people can go look for jobs, knowing that if they're a Coug and they're applying, that there's a good chance that the person reviewing their resume on the other end is a Coug as well. So you automatically have that connection. The other biggest thing that we've implemented, we've partnered with the Academic Success and Career Center at WSU to add the first ever Career Expo in Western Washington, hosted by Washington State and CougsFirst. So that will be the morning of May 12th at Hyatt Regency in Bellevue. And that's the same morning of our trade show. So it's a whole day. Our trade show previously was from 4 to 8. And now we have a whole day of CougsFirst activities from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that'll be a great, great day.
Yeah, I think you touched on it and I've experienced it too, also having been a part of CougsFirst on and off for a long time. But the turbo boost that you have provided in the last 9 months is wild. And there's a lot of new things that have come up, but also things that CougsFirst has done for a while that people probably have no clue about. One of them being the quarterback classic. So could you, for people listening who don't know what that is, could you tell them about it? Where can they find more info? When is it?
Yeah, so that's been probably one of my favorite event to plan. This will be the 3rd annual one. We had a pause during COVID. We had one this last year in 2022, but it's a golf tournament here in Pullman, the Friday before the spring football game. And Jack Thompson, it's kind of Jack Thompson's baby. He thought of this, and the first one was hosted by him, Drew Bledsoe and Mark Rippon. And it's just a bunch of Cougar greats. Previously, it was 20 former starting quarterbacks come back and play with a bunch of business owners and business folks, I should say, not all owners, and raise money for an endowment for a WSU quarterback. It's kind of hard to ask all these quarterbacks to come back every single year, and they do it on their own dime, which is amazing. But this year we're going to have more than just quarterbacks. We have former coaches coming, wide receivers, and some other position players, running backs. So all of them which starred at WSU at one point in time. But I love that event, and that's kind of a let your hair down business networking event. It's a lot of good food, a lot of good drinks, all provided by Cougs, of course. But I love that event. And if you can make it, there's actually kind of like any other major golf tournament, I should say, like professional one. There's like a gallery where you can sit and watch the quarterbacks golf and get autographs and all that stuff. And it's really fun. It's not a stuffy golf tournament at all.
Well, I think that's like just kind of how we roll as Cougs. Any event anyone has gone to, I've gone to, I feel like there's that underlying tone of casualness because Cougs just are family. It's just assumed.
Exactly. And being on the golf course, it's not a fall football weekend, but the spring football game is fun as well. It's you get to kind of see the first glimpses of what the team's going to look like for the upcoming season, and there's an RV tailgate just like there is on a normal fall football game. And it's an opportunity to get back to Pullman, if you haven't been back since November or whenever the last game was. So there's a good energy around this golf tournament, and like I said, the food and the drink is always really, really good. So
just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as people who are on the west side or maybe can't commit to a tournament, maybe they don't golf, people like me, you have this other thing that you've rolled out recently, which is the after hours. I want to know, what was the idea behind that? Who came up with that? How did that all come to be? And what is it?
Yeah. So, well, I think, I don't want to speak for the board of why they hired me, but first of all, I want to thank them because they've been so amazing in supporting all of the crazy ideas that I have, and none of them have told me to slow down yet. So thank you for that. And we have some really good experts, attorneys and accountants and really smart business folks that have been mentors to me, helping me see the big picture for where to take CougsFirst. But like I said, the reason I think they hired me is I have a background working. I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce here in Pullman, and I saw so many similarities between the organizations. Obviously, the Chamber of Commerce at Pullman is based in a physical community, whereas CougsFirst, the Cougar community, kind of expands the Pacific Northwest and beyond. But the one thing the Chamber does is monthly luncheons, and it's a general membership luncheon where anybody can come and get together, get an update from a local partner. Usually it's either the city, the university, the athletic department, Schweitzer Engineering Labs. Yesterday's Pullman Chamber Luncheon was an update on the hospital. The bond just passed. So the new CEO of the hospital was there talking about that. And so I kind of wanted to do something similar with CougsFirst, where we have an event, maybe not a huge event like a trade show, but we have an opportunity for Cougs get together in a casual setting, get an update on the organization, and enjoy each other's company and network. So we rolled that out. I think we've been doing it 5 or 6 months now, and it rotates from Cougar-owned establishments all over the state. We've had one in Spokane, Woodinville, Seattle. Where was the last one? It was in
Pullman, right?
We had one in Pullman, yeah.
South Seattle, yeah.
South Seattle, yeah. And so we're working on a couple, one in Vancouver over the summer and one in Tacoma over the summer. So it's cool because it can rotate around and we can get different business folks from all over the state to come to these.
Yeah, and they're fun. And I think what's really cool is every time I've gone to one, there's new people there that I've never met before. Last time I went, someone new, I was like, how'd you hear about this? And this guy was like, LinkedIn. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, people, especially on the west side of the state, they don't get that Cougar connection like we do here in Pullman or even in Spokane. Like they can't get over to games and they can't get over for Spring Fest or, some of the other great weekends in Pullman, parents' weekends, those types of things all the time. So they really look for opportunities to connect with alumni and friends, and these after hours provide that. It's also great food, great drink. It's usually at a winery or a brewery or a bar or Flat Stick Pub, which is a great venue. And we had a mini golf tournament, and it's all underwritten by a sponsor. So you can come and enjoy food and drink for free and get to know people in a lot of different industries that you wouldn't otherwise have met.
For sure. So for new people who come to these things, well, first of all, if you're listening and you haven't come to a CougsFirst anything and you're new, I think an after hours is worth going to, just saying. But if you come to this or you're listening to this podcast and you're like, Kelsey, Tony, where do I go from here? Tony, what's your advice on where people can go to find more information? Let's speak to people who are just Cougar family and then Cougar businesses.
Yeah, for Cougar family, just alumni and friends, sign up for our newsletter. Follow us on social media. I think that's the easiest way, direct line of communication to us. We have a great Coug running our social media now, and he's on that every day. So if you have questions, he can get back to you quickly. And then we have a really robust newsletter that doesn't go out a ton. We don't want to spam everybody, but there's a lot of great content in there, whether it's business education, deals and discounts. We had awesome Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals go out, and then those promote our events as well. So sign up for the newsletter. Now, if you're a business owner, a manager, somebody who's looking to network more on the professional level for your business or your place of work, definitely sign up for a membership. It's $100 as the entry level to get involved with CougsFirst. And that gets you a listing on our website, an introduction, a newsletter, and we'll reach out and see how we can help you. Now, of course, there's other levels, other opportunities for sponsorships for different events. But for $100, you can become a part of CougsFirst. And you can come to our events if you're not a member. So don't think that you have to be a member to come to our events. Our events are open to all Cougar alumni and friends. But if you want to be listed on the website and have a more formal relationship with us, then it's $100.
For sure. And of all the businesses on there, the ones that reap the most benefit or see the most success via the community, what are they doing to achieve that success specifically for CougsFirst, do you think?
Yeah, I think that they just take it one step further and actually leverage the opportunities that we have, whether it be, we put a call to action out for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and any business could have submitted that. And that newsletter goes out to tens of thousands of Cougs and has a great open rate, because when people see WSU or Cougs or whatever in the subject line, they're more likely to open it because they have an affinity towards the university. So when we put out those solicitations for those deals and discounts, send them to us. I mean, that's free advertising for you. Tag us on social media. We'll retweet it. We'll share it. Come to our events. Meet other Cougs at the events, and then follow up. That's the biggest thing too, is, people go to our trade shows, and some people do amazing at our shows because they get people to sign up for their email list or exchange business cards or whatever it may be, but then they follow up and ask, how can I help you? And so I think a big part of it is just continuing to show up at the events. But the follow-up is really the biggest thing. Like, just because you meet somebody in after hours or at the trade show and shake hands and enjoy a beer doesn't mean that they're going to buy a house from you or, buy a car from you or, return to your bar 5 times for dinner. But add them on LinkedIn, add them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, reach out to them and see how can we do more business together. And just making that ask, just give us the opportunity is something that people aren't comfortable asking maybe, and they should be, because they're Cougs and generally you're going to have a positive response.
Yeah. I would say, just to piggyback off that, as someone who was on CougsFirst just as a business for a long time, be proactive. Mm-hmm. Go out, reach to people, look at people who could be your ideal client, make connections, be genuine, build relationships. And I think that just goes further. And the cool thing is you have a head start because we're all already Cougs and we already have that common bond. Yeah,
exactly. You have something in common to break the ice. I mean, just like in any sales organization, like, it's building a relationship. This one, you're already, 2 laps into a marathon, right? Because you have that Cougar connection. So continue to build on those relationships. And then maybe you'll see them at the next after hours, the one after that. And then maybe 6 months down the road, they are in a position to switch insurance carriers or banks, or they need a knee operation and they're looking at Pullman Regional Hospital or whatever it may be. But sometimes it's the long play, I should say. Yeah.
Agree. Okay. Let's talk about this crazy, huge event that you're putting on in May. First, let's talk about how it used to be. So what was the CougsFirst trade show initially for the past 9 or so years? And then we'll dive into all the updates happening this year specifically.
Yeah. So, I mean, we touched on this briefly, and so did Glenn Osterhout in one of the first episodes, but it started as a lunch with like 6 people. Then it was like a little bit bigger of a lunch. And then it was a small trade show in a hotel, small ballroom with like 30 or so, maybe 40 businesses. And, nobody really had amazing backdrops and the decorations were fine, but it was a small show. I mean, and then it became bigger and bigger to the point where we have an amazing event planner, Mary Jo Bradley, and it was so big. We moved it to the Washington State Convention Center, and we had over 1,200 Cougs there and over 100 exhibitors, and it was awesome. But it was just a trade show, which, not to discount it being a trade show, but that's the only facet of it, was go in, see what Cougars are doing in business, and go home. And a lot of business was done, but there's so much more to a business network than that. And the hiring component is a big one. And then education is another big one. So how can we provide some education to not just business owners or managers or people in hiring positions and decision-making positions, but just general Cougs that are interested in learning things? So we decided last year to implement a small thought leadership stage into our shows. And you hosted one, talked about company culture. So that was awesome. Yeah. We had a couple of different sessions and it was good. I mean, we had great feedback from it. This year, we're doing something way bigger. At 9:00 in the morning, we're starting with the Career Expo in a completely different ballroom from the trade show. And that's going to go till noon. Then we're going to have a power lunch. And depending on when this episode is going to be released, I guess I can say the topic is cybersecurity. So we're going to have a group of panelists that are cybersecurity experts, delicious lunch, and that will be for about 90 minutes. And then from roughly 1 to 3, we'll have a couple of workshops that any Coug can go to. I don't know exactly if I can talk about the topics yet on that, but they're great. It's not just for business people. Any Coug can go to those. And then President Schultz will have a keynote giving us an update on the university. And then the show floor is going to open where in the grand ballroom at the Hyatt Regency in Bellevue, and we'll have 80 WSU alumni-owned businesses showcasing their products and services. We have a lot of cool things going on. We're going to have the thought leadership stage again. You're going to be a host, so thank you for that.
I will be there.
You will be there. We're going to have a discussion. The Cougar Collective will be there talking about NIL. We might have some coaches and players. Pullman Regional Hospital is going to present a session. We're going to have something around financial literacy. We're going to have a great happy hour. We're going to have the Cougs going to bring over a replica wall that you can sign for a beer garden, which is pretty cool because a lot of people can't get back to the Coug every year to sign their name on the wall. So they can do that in Bellevue now. And then we're going to have an after party at Flatstick. So be prepared if you want to come to one or all of these events. It's going to be a great day of Cougar networking.
I'm already tired thinking about this, Tony, but that's going to be so amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to fit my nap in. I'm staying for a couple of days at the Hyatt there. It's a great property, by the way. And the sales and events manager is a Coug. So we definitely live and breathe by what we preach. So that's usually where I stay at if I'm on the east side of
the west side.
The east side of the west. Yeah, because when I say east side, I think Pullman, that's where I live. But like when I'm on the east side of Western Washington, I stay at the Hyatt Bellevue. It's great.
That's so awesome. So just to recap, if I'm just a Coug fan, I can just I just have to sign up and I can go to this thing, right?
Yes. And it's completely free. And you're going to walk through and you're going to taste some great beer that's brewed by Cougs. You're going to taste some great wine that's made by Cougs. You're going to get probably some Cougar cheese samples, and you're going to see some really cool products. You're going to see everything from wedding DJs to insurance agents to flooring companies. And you're going to really quickly recognize that there is a Coug in every industry. And if you wanted to do business with only Cougs for everything, whether it's getting your gutters cleaned, I mean, you can find a Coug who will probably give you a good deal and have a great time while you're doing it.
That's amazing. And I would also say if you're a small business owner and maybe a booth isn't the fit, this is still 100% worth going to and networking. What inspired the thought leadership and kind of the more education side of things that you're adding into it this year? Were people asking for it? Is it just a need that you recognized? What led to that?
Yeah, I'm a business owner myself. So just from my point of view, being an exhibitor here at the shows, it was great. I mean, we got a lot of business out of it, but I wanted more. I mean, when we were packing up our booth, I didn't want to go home. I wanted it to be a longer day because it's something that I looked forward to every year. And I thought, it'd be great to learn from some of these great business leaders. And WSU and the Carson College of Business has some really, really smart people that they're educating and are out there working in the business community, whether it's for BECU or Boeing or Schweitzer Engineering Labs, Pullman Regional Hospital, USI. There's some great people out there that and are willing to share with us what they've learned in their careers. So I didn't study business at WSU, and I wanted to hear from these folks. And I know they probably go talk to classes and stuff, but this is an opportunity to get that education, past your diploma.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's just an opportunity because everyone's in the room together, and the energy as the show is going on is different, as you're saying, as you're packing up and stuff, and the kind of beer cooler conversation you want to have after hours. That's a kind of a different energy and a different mindset than when you're serving people who are walking by your booth. So there needs to be space for that.
Exactly. And just having that more casual education too, where you can take a break from walking the show floor and pop into a room or pop in front of the stage, because the thought leadership stage is right in the middle of the show floor. Take a break, maybe grab a bite to eat and listen to some really engaging content from some pretty remarkable people. It's awesome. It breaks up the monotony of sometimes you need to take a break from talking to people at a booth, for 4 hours straight. So
yeah, exactly. That's where I will be. That's will be my nap spot.
Yeah.
Listening to some other thought leaders.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Totally kidding. Okay. So moral of the story, Cougs, come to the show. When is it again, Tony?
May 12th.
May 12th.
Yeah.
And how do people sign up? Where can they find information about it?
CougsFirst.org. And again, it's free, and we'd love to have you there. And you probably walk away with some great relationships, some great swag, and probably some good stories too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's even if you just go for fun, it's a fun event. It's worth going to. So please go look at that. Then I think now is the time to roll out the brand new, just decided upon set of rapid fire questions. Are you ready for them, Tony?
I am ready. Yeah.
Okay. We're, 6 months in, we just got to refresh it. So the first question, first person, Tony. What is your first WSU memory?
I thought about this earlier, but I didn't even make it to Pullman, but I got my first speeding ticket on my way to Pullman. So that, I guess, is probably the thing that popped up in my head, actually, was getting a speeding ticket on my way to Alive. So, yeah.
I didn't. My mom was driving, but my mom got one on the way too. the student weekend or whatever when you visit. Yeah.
Yeah, junior preview or something like that. Yeah. No, I was only going 7 miles an hour over, but it was my first and only speeding ticket, actually.
And you still picked it. Love that. Okay. Yeah. Question number 2. Where is the best place to get French fries in Pullman?
Okay. So this is debatable, but, I would say that I love South Fork's fries. The 100% probably my favorite fries in Pullman. However, I don't sleep on the bowling alley or Cougar Country. Crinkle cut fries have a place in my heart, and I have to be in the mood for them. But Zeppo's has great crinkle cut fries. So does the Cougar Country. So
yeah, awesome. Okay, and then the last question: if you were to go on a first date in Pullman today, where would you go? What would you do?
As a 37-year-old or as a college student?
As a college student. Yeah.
Okay.
College student, which means also college student budget.
Yes. So here is a tip and trick. The Student Entertainment Board, and this might just be me, but their Up All Nights are awesome. They have this event called Up All Night on the weekends, and they do it maybe once a month. And it's like a variety event, I guess, if you will. And there's always free food. So your expenses are next to nothing. There's activities and it's completely alcohol free. So you get a chance to know somebody and talk. And sometimes there's like a hypnotist, or there'll be free piercings, or they'll bring laser tag into the rec center, or they'll do pottery and they'll fire it over the next week and you can pick it up the next weekend. And it's just like, there's this thing called Up All Night that I feel like a lot of Greek students especially don't know about, because they kind of stay down on Greek Road during the weekends. But I loved going to those things. I'm also probably biased because I was the concerts chair for the student entertainment board for 2 years, but I always felt like there was good concerts while I was in school, and they're very, very cheap. And, it's wild that you can pre-funk and go to a concert and probably spend $20 in college, but then you go to Seattle after graduation and like going to a concert's like a $200 ordeal because you're paying for an Uber, you're paying for tickets, you're paying for really expensive drinks, and you're seeing the same artists that you would have. I mean, they bring good artists to Pullman. So those would be my date ideas, would be something the Student Entertainment Board does. They also do free movies on the weekend in the Coug. And some people don't know about it. They give out free popcorn too. So budget ideas, definitely check out the Student Entertainment Board stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not take advantage of those back in the day, and I wish I would have. That would have saved me a lot of headache and money.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you live in College Hill, which I obviously have a very, very passion and affinity towards that neighborhood. I named my company after it, but like there's so much more in Pullman. Like go downtown, walk around downtown, grab a coffee and walk around. There's great ice cream shops and great vintage clothing stores downtown now, and they actually just opened up a pottery studio downtown where they have wheels that you can book time on and do pottery, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do in Pullman. The golf course is great to walk around, the observatory, go hang out, check out the bears. I mean, you got a free zoo. You got bears right there, grizzly bears. I mean, there's not a zoo that I know of that actually has grizzly bears, but the Pullman campus has a bunch of beautiful grizzly bears you can check out. So
yeah.
The Arboretum's great. There's so much to do here. Everybody's like, there's nothing to do in Pullman, but I'm never bored. So.
Tony just planned like a plethora of first dates for people listening to this episode.
Yeah, hey,
good job.
If you need help, I can be like the Pullman hitch. If you think that makes, like, I'm willing to help.
I love it. I love that so much. Yes, just find him on CougsFirst.org. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But that being said, this was so fun and just timely. I think the things that you've accomplished in 9 months, in 6 months of having this show, I mean, we've had thousands of people download it. We've had over 40 5-star reviews. Things are looking up for CougsFirst, and a huge part of that is you, Tony. So thank you for steering the ship for all this.
Well, thank you. And I have to give a shout out to the board, to Glenn Osterhout, the chairman of the board, Jack Thompson, one of the founders, and then my team too. I have Angela Lenson, who's planning all of our after hours with a couple of our board members, Dustin and Caitlin. They're amazing. And then Lindsay, who does our marketing, and Mary Jo, who's planning our show right now. Just this team is amazing. They're all great Cougs, great people to work with every day. And it just doesn't seem like work. It's just so much fun every day getting to interact with Cougs. So thanks to them. They deserve the credit more than I do.
Yeah, totally agree. And everyone listening, please just join in all the fun things we have going on. There's so many things for just Coug fans and family, people who love the Cougs. There's things for you. If you're a business owner, there's something for you. If you're somewhere in between, just be a part of this community. We all just are here to help. And I think that's where me being in and out and a part of this in so many different ways for so many years, that's why I've always come back for it. And so I definitely just want to get the message out there for people. Anything else you want to add to that, Tony?
No, I just want to say thank you. The podcast has been so great. And also, if people are listening, check out your other podcast, When I Grow Up, because that's also a great podcast. I was listening to the newest episode on my drive here today. So
cool.
It's awesome. And you've been great too. And I can't wait to see you host another session at the show. So
yeah, thank you. We'll have links to all the show notes, but essentially CougsFirst.org is like the hub for everything. So just go there and we'll catch you on the next episode, everyone. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out with us on the CougsFirst podcast. We hope you leave feeling inspired, entertained, and encouraged to support yet another awesome Cougar-owned business. If you like what you heard, do us a huge favor and leave a review for the CougsFirst podcast on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest episodes, and please share this podcast with your fellow Cougs. And remember to thank CougsFirst for all of your products and services. But until the next episode, let's end it with a good old-fashioned Go Cougs!